I see hatred and fear in their eyes. As if I was responsible for the spreading disease. As if I were the source of all the misery plaguing this land. I have nowhere to hide from them, nowhere to run. The woods have closed us off from the outside world. We are all doomed. Welcome to Darkwood. I'm going to be taking you through all of the story that I could possibly manage to put together, and based off of the length of this video, you can probably come to conclude that it was a lot. So kick back, grab some popcorn or something, and let us begin. Darkwood begins with a few quotes. I see hatred and fear in their eyes, as if I was responsible for the spreading disease, as if I were the source of all the misery plaguing this land. I have nowhere to hide from them, nowhere to run. The woods have closed us off from the outside world. We are all doomed. And those quotes would be coming from us. We are a doctor of a diseased land, and walking out of the room that we started in, we can see why people might not want us around. There are cages and blood. Walking up to the metal door next to the cages, if we interact with it, we get this prompt. I would rather not open it. I spent too much time to lock him in there. Entering the bottom room, we see our bed and a radio. Examining the radio, we get this. The radio has been silent for years, although sometimes I think I can hear voices through the static. We go up to our wardrobe, grab a few items, including our medical book. Examining the medical notebook, the only thing that I could see that was legible is the header. The header reads, Vesera Lekarska, which, assuming that I didn't butcher that pronunciation, is Polish for medical knowledge. And with that, we can assume that the images that are in this medical notebook are pertaining to whatever kind of disease is plaguing this area. If we want to get a little bit more specific, the top left picture shows an electrocardiogram with some sort of circled abnormality. The second circled image is some sort of skin irritation, rash, or infection. And the circled image on the right, I don't know what that would be, maybe some sort of sinuses or optical nerve, but that's just speculation. And the photo that we pick up just now is something. We picked up a camera before picking up this photo, so it seems to be implied that we took this photo, and the photo is dated 12/6/85, but that's about all the context that we have. We'll get back to this later. While going over to the table a little while ago, we pick up our tools and say this, my tools. They haven't been sterilized for years. The local patients can't be helped anyways. And walking over to these cages, whenever we examine them, we say, cages. This time they're empty. Heading outside, we see a few things in our front lawn. A wooden doll, a large humanoid doll with a carved out face. A dog. Our dog. I don't think he's going to make it. I should end his suffering. And our 125p. It used to be a luxury, but since all the access roads have been devoured by the woods, it became a useless pile of trash. And in the car we find the People's Tribune, a real propaganda newspaper published in Poland from about 1948 to 1990. Not that you even need to know this, but I did translate some of these headlines, and roughly speaking, this is what they're talking about. This one talks about some Commander Edward Gierek attending a party at some furniture factories. This one is talking about a wildfire somewhere in Poland. This one is talking about the President of the United States talking about disarmament with the USSR. This one makes mention to 16 million participants in something called the Summer of Action 1979. And this one is talking about connections of sections built by crews from Poland and the GDR. GDR referring to the German Democratic Republic, which would have been East Germany after World War II. And this, from the top right of the newspaper, is actually a slogan that was commonly used. It being translated translates to "Workers of the World Unite." And while this newspaper has no direct lore ties like a lot of objects that you can find during the game, I'm still going to go over them because I think that they're really cool in how they set up the world itself. You can get an idea of how certain characters might think, how they might have grown up, how they might have interacted with the world before all of this happened, just based off of what items they possess. And the game does a really good job at setting up certain elements towards characters, locations, and lore, just based off of random items that you can find throughout the game. Such as the People's Tribune with the Doctor. Him having that doesn't really add anything to the story of Darkwood, but it adds something to his character. You can identify what his politics might be, where his allegiance might lie. Certain small things like that don't add to an overarching narrative, but they help establish characters, locations, events. And because this game doesn't push you in one direction, you get freedom to do basically whatever you want. And because you get this sort of free will, you might feel differently about every single character in the game just based off of how you play the game. Interacting with characters in different orders might make you think differently. Finding certain objects before you interact with other characters might make you think differently. Every little thing that you do can influence your perspective of the game. And that sort of perspective swapping pertains to even right now. While we are playing as the Doctor currently, we are not the Doctor. In fact, the Doctor is not the main protagonist of the game. The main protagonist is the person that the Doctor finds while going through the prologue. A man crawling through an open field, half dead, and we take him back to our house. He's unconscious. I've never seen him around here before. He's only carrying a key and some journal. Since he managed to sneak in here, he must know how to get out. Of course, he won't help me voluntarily. But that is of no importance. I need to get out of this accursed forest. You hear me, rat? Show me how, and I will let you go. I sometimes hear her voice. She's calling to me, calling me to return home. Where's the exit? Where? Show me where. I'll kill you like a dog if I have to. That fucker stole my key. These are the first words that us, the actual protagonist of the game, decide to give. The fucker stole our key. Now, what is the importance of the key? We'll figure that out later. For now, we have to craft a lockpick, grab the shovel out of the container, and bust the door down. The doctor was there 1 second, and then gone the next, so we look around. We grab the syringe off of the table. Walking up, we find a wooden door with a combination code to it. We don't know the code, but there's a voice coming from inside, asking who's there, and to please let them out. We walk down to the room with the radio, and looking around, we notice that we can push the wardrobe out of the way, revealing a generator, a metal examination table, and a crate. The crate has gasoline and a table leg in it. Taking this, we refuel the generator with the gasoline, and replacing the radio in the next room when we walk in is a corpse. Examining the corpse, we notice the corpse has 2 dials instead of eyes. His mouth is wide open, and I can hear a distorted voice barely distinguishable from the radio static. After walking away from the corpse, we hear something. The corpse then spouts off the combination code for the locked door. 4892. Entering that code into the wooden door, it unlocks. The door is stuck, so we have to hit it once to jar it open. And upon heading inside, towards the voice asking for help, we get ambushed. We use the table leg and beat the man to death. On the man's body, a plastic chick. And how do you want to get out now? You think you can manage all by yourself? Hear it. We wake up in some sort of run-down house. The first thing we see is an oven. A pleasant warmth is emanating from the oven. I can sense a strange yet familiar scent. It smells of the protective substance which gives me relative safety after dark. The vapors rising from the huge cauldron are distributed all over the house via long pipes. As long as I remain inside my hideout, I have a chance of surviving the night. When I arrived here a couple of days ago, The oven was basically prepared. I just needed to light it up to ensure my safety at night. This cottage must have been one of our hideouts. The inhabitants of these woods don't need to inhale this revolting gas. The label on the bottle says, "Staying out of reach of the protective substance after nightfall results in immediate death in 99 out of 100 cases. It is advised to evenly spread the gas inside the sleeping area. Warning: even a properly prepared substance does not guarantee 100% safety. Remain vigilant. It is recommended to stay in well-lit indoor areas in order to minimize the risk." A small, empty cast iron pot. I haven't used it yet. I haven't felt any hunger or thirst since the accident a few days ago. I can't stop thinking about one thing: these mushrooms. These red, pulsating mushrooms. They look so tasty. Maybe this pot will provide useful after all. Before we talk about any of this dialogue, we're going to talk about the journal entries that are already written and the one that we just wrote down. Whenever you open the journal, it's shown that a bunch of pages are ripped out of the front of your notebook. But where the journal begins, aside from those ripped out pages, says this: "Into these damned savages, everything should go smoothly. 12th of September, 1987. I don't remember anything since the attack on our camp. Somehow I am wearing a coat, so I must have changed my clothes on my way here. I don't recognize myself anymore. I can barely hold this pencil. Has my body changed? I no longer feel hunger or thirst. What has happened to me?" Key to underground number 21. I remember his face, the face of the man who saved me, then held me captive. I don't know how I managed to escape his hut and end up here. What I do know is that the insane fucker took my key, my only chance to get out of the woods. He also tore out all the pages from my journal. I doubt that he was able to learn the location of the underground passage, though I should check if the door is still locked just to be sure. I must find him. I don't think he still lives in the same place where he held me. Makes no difference, as I have no idea how to get back to that vile place. Now let's take a look back at some of this dialogue. We make mention of this substance in the oven smelling like the protective substance, quote unquote, that gives me relative safety after dark. What this substance is or how it fends off whatever comes at night is never really explained. Upon examining the oven, the protagonist then says, "When I arrived here a couple of days ago, the oven was basically prepared," implying that both somebody else had prepared the oven with such a substance to keep us safe, and that a few days have passed since we arrived here. We also say, "This cottage must have been one of our hideouts. The inhabitants of these woods don't need to inhale this revolting gas," which begs a few questions. For one, whose hideouts? What kind of hideouts? Hideouts from what? Second, the inhabitants of these woods don't need to inhale this revolting gas. The gas is described as revolting, yet it keeps us safe. But if it keeps us safe, why wouldn't the inhabitants of the woods want to inhale it? Upon looking inside the cast iron pot, we make a few mentions to things that are relevant. For one, we haven't felt any hunger or thirst since the quote-unquote accident, but also, we can't stop thinking about these mushrooms, these red pulsating mushrooms, a few of which we picked up in the gameplay footage that was playing in the background while I was talking. Those we can put into the syringe, and eventually when we have enough of them, we can gather some skills. We'll talk more about the skills later. Ironically enough, after putting the mushrooms in the syringe, we pick up a book from a cabinet. The book is about mushrooms, and the title being translated translates roughly to "Use of Mushrooms in the Household." Something to keep in mind about the game is that the maps are randomly generated. You don't always have the exact same map each playthrough, which adds to the replayability of the game. It doesn't add new locations or take any away, but you do experience the game a little bit differently depending on how the map generates. Now back to the journal. The first thing that we wrote down, aside from what I've already read, is called Nights. It reads as follows. I need to get back to my hideout before nightfall. Wandering here at night is too risky. The forest exhibits increased activity after dark. Only the protective gas in my hideout can provide me with relative safety. And notice the constant mention of relative safety. The gas, as it states when we're talking about it, is described as not being fully capable of fending things off by itself. It provides a relative comfort for us. And this is even emphasized by the note on the generator, which says, turn on the generator before dark. Hiding in the shadows won't do you any good. They're coming either way. As for what comes for us at night, we'll figure that out when night does end up coming. For now, we have another mission though. In the journal entry, key to underground number 21, we say, I doubt that he was able to learn the location of the underground passage, though I should check if the door is still locked just to be sure. And on our map, we have an X marking the location of the underground passage. Its location is just south of us, so we head there immediately. Be sure to keep in mind though, whenever I say that we head there to do this thing or we head to this location, I'm describing my playthrough. You don't have to come to the underground location. You could run wherever you want. Like I said in the beginning, you have free will, but as for how I'm going to describe this, I'm going to do it in terms of what I did, just so you don't get confused. You don't have to do this in this order. In fact, you don't even have to do any of this. And just to drive this point home, here's the percentage chart of achievements completed. The top one is just for beating the prologue. Everything under that is for main story objectives. Not a lot of people have even done one main story achievement, much less the entire game itself. I won't tell you what these achievements are or what the objectives are, but you get the idea. Some people will just explore the area that they're in and never progress the storyline, because you just do not have to. After moving the wardrobe that was hiding the underground passage, we enter it. Inside is what appears to be a mine shaft. A light bulb dimly lights the wet walls of the underground passage. The further part is shrouded in complete darkness. I need a light source to continue. There's a backpack before we enter the darkness, and inside of it is an automotive magazine. This year's edition, 1987. After going upstairs to collect some resources to craft ourselves a torch, we head back. Going through the darkness, the thick wooden posts barely hold the soaked ground and the tangled roots. The construction seems on the verge of collapse. Parts of the passage are blocked by overgrown, tangled roots. And at the end, a door. Locked. It's my only way out. I won't be able to open it without my key. Looking at the handle is covered with a thick layer of dust. It hasn't been opened for at least 2 weeks. Putting our ear up to the hole, we can hear a faint voice throughout the howling wind. It sounds familiar. It seems to be coming through the keyhole. Someone is calling me. And looking through the keyhole, we see some faint, glowing light. Knowing that this door hasn't been unlocked, we leave. While we head out of the cave system, it seems like something is in the cave with us. We take this as our hint to start sprinting to the exit and leaving. While heading home though, we come across something that on our map is referred to as the markings. Standing on the markings, we can see visions. This one, a vision of our key. Arriving back at home though, we take the mushrooms that we gathered while we were out and we put them into our oven. This finally will give us one skill. We only have tier 1 unlocked, but for tier 1, 2, 3, and 4, whenever you take your first skill of each tier, you have to take a debuff with that skill. In this case, there's only one debuff, the debuff being shadows. Staying in dark areas at night can be dangerous to me. So no matter which one of these we pick, we have to take shadows as well. We decide to take Eagle Eye. I will be able to see farther. Other things around our hideout include the workbench, which contains a storage area and a crafting area. Outside, there's a well that we can rebuild, which once per day, you can drink from it and it will heal you. The saw, which you can put wood logs into to turn into wooden planks. And our generator, which will take time to refill, so we'll have enough power for nighttime. Taking some time to walk around before night comes, we can find a few things. For one, a disassembled tractor. There's usually parts inside of it, but this time there was only gasoline. And a corpse, which sometimes will contain certain goods and craftable equipment for you. And if we go north just a little bit more, we come across a location. A burnt house. But before we can explore it, nighttime starts to fall, and we must return to our hideout before nightfall. Upon getting home, we'll turn our generator on and hunker down for the night. Each night of Darkwood lasts 4.5 minutes. Enemies may spawn outside of your house, and sometimes they might come in and attack you. Other things such as different events can occur, which will do a varying number of things that we'll get into as they happen. One that happened this night is just random doors opening. If you're inside of a hideout that doesn't have boarded up doors, they can just randomly open with nothing being there. This, however, is probably the least of your worries as far as events go. The only things that happened on this night were the random door opening, and we saw a few dogs outside of our windows. But other than that, the night went smoothly, and you'll know that daylight is coming because you can look outside and it will be turning red or an orangish color, and a musical note will slowly increase in volume as you get closer to daylight. Each day will begin with a frozen time. In this time, as long as you're in the vicinity of the hideout, you will not pass any sort of time. But on this first day, somebody appears in our hideout. A wolfman. Even from afar, I can smell your putrid stench. Be glad I don't have an appetite for carcasses, meat. The figure hides its face under the hood. It smells of wet soil and fur. I know what you're after. I can help you reclaim what you've lost, if you help me attend to a certain matter. What do you say, comrade? As he leans toward me, I can hear him giggling under the hood. I knew it would interest you. Before we make a deal, you need to prove that you can do the job. I've no time for weaklings, meat. You follow? Show me what you're made of. Get through the silent forest. You think it's so easy? If I were you, I would prepare myself well before setting out. When you get there, you will find me in this spot. Remember it. The wolf grabs my map and scribbles something on it. The likes of you always crawl back to me. After the opening dialogue, we have 3 options of how to interact with the wolfman. Show items, trade, or gossip. If we go to show the wolfman our items, we can choose between the plastic chick or the photo of a road home. When shown the photo, the wolfman says, "What's that you got there?" The wolf snatches the photograph from my hand and studies it carefully. Finally, he snorts, his thick yellow spit landing on the photo. This road doesn't exist anymore, overgrown with trees like all the other ones. The wolf throws the photo on the ground. Better forget about the road home, meat. Around here, all the roads lead to nowhere. Yet when shown the plastic chick, the wolf simply says, "Beautiful item, perfect for a church fair." When gossiping, the wolfman says, "If I were you, I wouldn't venture too far from here unless you got bored of your lousy life, meat. Only a few returned from the dense woods, and those who made it back were not able to share their happy stories." Gossiping again, the wolfman says, "I'd avoid getting into trouble if I were you, meat, or at least until you get a decent weapon." Gossiping for a third time, the wolfman says, "I wouldn't recommend wandering around these woods at night. It would mean certain death for you, meat. Better hide in that hideout of yours before dark and pray for the morning light." We can then click on trade and see what the wolfman has to offer. He has a few items that would be well worth getting, but they're way beyond what we can afford, so we leave without getting anything. Upon leaving, the wolfman gives us an extra bit of dialogue, saying, "If you wish to spend some more quality time basking in the striking yet natural beauty of my features before you head off to the silent forest, you will find me in my camp in the dry meadow." The wolf points to a location on my map. Looking at our map, we can see both of the wolf's camps that he marked on it, and at this point normally you would leave and go do whatever you feel like. However, before that, I want to talk about a few things. For one, this container on the outside of your hideout. You got the code for this for supporting it when it was in its sort of GoFundMe stage. The code for this container is 2919. The next thing that I want to talk about is a sort of sequence break that happened during my game. Upon quitting out after the wolf part and returning back to the game, I didn't have the wolf in my hideout anymore. I instead had the second entity that can show up in your hideout. The trader, a man roughly my size, is standing before me. I can barely make out his disturbingly familiar features through the matted visor of his helmet. The massive helmet is covered with an old sack and seems to be an integral part of the unnaturally pale body. I remember him. He's the one who rescued me from the doctor's house. The man reaches out to me with a black hand. It's covered in charcoal. There's something written on his worn woolen glove. "We need to stick together, brother." His lips are moving, but all sounds are drowned inside the helmet. He shrugs, then takes the huge sack off his back and drops it to the ground, revealing its contents. For the trader, we can't gossip with him. We can only show items or trade. If we show him the photo of the road, he wipes his left glove on his pants, takes out the charcoal from his pocket, and starts scribbling. When he's finished, he lifts his dirty hand. All roads lead deeper into the woods. Similar to the wolfman, if we look through what the trader's offering, we can't really afford anything, so we leave. And for now, while we explore, we have some things to get into, starting with the journal entries. After interacting with the armored door in the underground passage, we got a journal entry titled Underground Passage. It reads, "The armored door in the underground passage is closed. It hasn't been opened in around 2 weeks. The thief who took my key apparently does not know how to find the passage. Good. I, on the other hand, have no idea where to find the thief. Not so good." The next journal entry we get after talking to the wolfman for the first time, it's simply titled The Wolf, and it reads, "My mind must be going. If I'm not delusional, the man whom I met had the head of a wolf. He told me he will help me get the key back. I just need to get through to the other side of the forest. I am to meet him in the northwestern part of the silent forest. I should explore the surroundings before venturing forth. I do not wish to act too hastily." In regards to our two visitors, both the wolfman and the trader are described as being merged weirdly. And what I mean by this is the wolfman is a man with the head of a wolf, And the traitor is described as being a person who has a helmet on, but the helmet seems to be an integral part of its body, as if the helmet itself is merged to its skin. We'll find out more about why this is later. Regarding the Wolfman, he seems to have some sort of grandiose image of himself, describing himself as having naturally beautiful and exquisite features. He refers to us as meat. He also degrades us and questions our ability to survive out here. So much so that in order for us to get any help from him, he sends us on a little quest. We have to make it to the Silent Forest, and once we do, he will then help us. He acts as though we aren't meant for this place, that this forest is his. Regarding the traitor, however, he is mute. We can't hear anything that he says through his mask, so he communicates with us by writing what he wants to say on his hand in charcoal. We recognize him, though, as the man in the prologue who saved us and got us out of the doctor's house. He tells us that we need to stick together and that all the roads lead deeper into the forest. Again, later we'll find out more about what that means. But for the time being, he seems like the only person who truly is a friend to us. While going east to get to the Silent Forest, we come across another location. Burned houses. Not to be confused with the burned house at the northern part of the map. Inside of these houses, there are dogs that we can kill. And upon going through the house and making our way down to a sofa and moving it out of the way, there's a hidden container. Inside the container, a white child-sized dress. Outside, however, there is a red seesaw. It cannot be interacted with, and other than that, there's a disassembled tractor with a tire in it. We take the tire with us even though it has no inherent value. Eventually, we come across the entrance to the Silent Forest. We have to do a few things here, namely, getting rid of all of this shit. We take a Molotov and we burn it. After doing that, we come across a door with a code on it. In search for the code, we head through this building. We find an egg and there appears to be something floating in it. We could probably break it open, but for now, we leave it. Heading into this room, we get ambushed again. And painfully, it was in this moment, staring at this creature, that I realized I did not bring a weapon with me. Yes, I had the torch that I could have hit him with. Yes, I had the single shot pistol, but I was trying to save the pistol, and I didn't know at the time that you could use torches as weapons. So I ran all the way back to my hideout, slamming my head against the wall the entire time. Ran all the way back while also slamming my head against the wall the entire time, cursing myself for being so stupid. And then I killed this thing because it was stuck in a corner. Going inside and examining the wardrobe where we initially saw the savage, there's a note. The note reads, "The door code is 3333. It can't get any easier. Remember it. I'm not opening that door after dark anymore. I went to get some gasoline from the pig shed. I'll be back after dark." Sadly though, because of my little fuck up, our detour took too much time and night is falling, so we must return to our hideout before dark. On our second night, we actually get two different night events. The first one being the wedding invitation. During the night, someone knocks on our front door. And then in the morning, we go outside and find an invitation to the wedding. It has a 4-digit code that we need to enter the wedding building. Sadly, in this run-through, I didn't go to the wedding because I forgot. In my second run-through, though, I did end up going, and that will be the footage that I show you after this night ends. And the second event that occurs is the shadows. Strange whispering is heard, and then we can see ghosts out of the corners of our vision, swirling around in the dark. The ghost can and will attack us if we aren't properly lit, so we stay close to our nearby light sources. But we need to still be aware because the ghost can disable some of, if not all of our lights in the hideout. We did have one savage break into our hideout, but we killed him fairly easily. And with all of those events out of the way, we see the sun rise the next day. I'm going to take this time to talk about the wedding now. So as stated previously, we will receive an invitation. On the invitation will be a randomly generated code that's different every playthrough. After getting the code, we can go to the wedding location and enter with the code that was on the invitation. The metal door in front of us will be locked and we have to head down. We have a few things we can loot, and there's a pig that we could kill if we wanted to, but in this playthrough I didn't. You exit through the metal door, you can turn on the generator, there's a tractor here with some parts, and then you hop through the window. Upon entering the party room and heading upwards, we'll find a man banging his head on the table. When you get close to him, he will start saying, "We've been waiting for you." There's a few other things to explore, but the main thing is going up again through the metal door that leads outside. Upon going outside, there will be a bunch of ghostly brides that are all trying to entice you to dance with them. The player, however, cannot dance with the brides. You can interact with them in another way, which would be by killing them, but I didn't do that because I'm a good guy and it totally wasn't because I missed. Anyways, once you leave that area and go back into the ballroom, the man who is sitting in the chair will be gone. And when going to the metal door, which is now for some reason a wooden door, a chomper will be on the other side breaking it down, and it will say, "We've been waiting for you." After killing the bride chomper in a fit of rage, it'll drop a fabric and a shiny stone. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything going on with the wedding itself. It doesn't serve much of a narrative purpose from what I could find, and it just seems like a random event that can be done. If, however, I had to speculate, I would simply say that this seems like another tragic event that was dictated entirely by the forest. A wedding turned into a horror scene just because of whatever's going on in this forest. Moving on from the wedding, we move into the second event that happened last night, which we wrote a journal entry about: the shadows that were attacking us. In our journal, we write, "The shadows. It was a rotten, strange night. Shadowy silhouettes emerging from the corners of my hideout. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me in the dark, but I'm certain I've seen something. If they come back, I should keep close to the light." Continuing on, we go to the metal door between the meadows and the silent forest. We enter the code that we got the day prior, 3333, and to our immediate right, we see a body on the ground. The body is not called a corpse or a dead person, it is referred to as a sleeper. There is a shotgun shell and a map of the forest on its body. The map has two locations on it: Silent Forest Hideout and a location called Piotrex's house. Before we can get far away from the sleeper, it begins talking to us. "Hey there, friend. In the last hideout, look for an exit beneath the floor." These are the only words that the sleeper will speak to us, so we carry on. We eventually make our way to our new hideout. Upon setting up the hideout, we can find a few things of interest. Notably, there are some ration stamps hidden in some clothing in the bathroom portion of our hideout. And in our workbench, a bike bell. First things first though, we have to go and light the oven so we can be safe at night. With the oven activated, we can now cook. We use the mushrooms to get to level 2. To briefly explain the embryo in our inventory though, you get these by breaking open eggs that are scattered around the map. This one came from the entrance to the Silent Forest as I'm showing now. They give you 160 essence and you can only use them to cook or trade with, but they don't perish over time like mushrooms do. With our new level up, we take the Navigator perk and enter our first dream sequence. In this dream sequence, we wake up in the bunker entrance. A voice beckons us to come with it, and upon following the voice, we will reach the bunker door. Pressing our ear up against the keyhole, we can hear a faint voice through the howling wind. We say it sounds familiar, and it seems to be coming through the keyhole. Someone is calling us. Upon looking through the keyhole, we see something. After this thing asks us to come to it again, the door opens. Upon exiting through the door, we find ourselves in a forest. Following the voice and the shiny stones further, we come to a lamp. Upon turning on the lamp, bodies replace the forest. Thousands of them in all directions. Shutting the lamp off will get rid of them and return us to the forest, but there's nothing else to do here, so we must return back. Eventually, the lamp will begin to grow brighter and brighter, replacing the lamp with a fetus. Upon interacting with the fetus or the lamp, if the fetus leaves, you will be returned to the forest. You can then follow the shiny stone path to the bed and lie down in it, ending the dream sequence. Before we did all of that though, we used the bike bell. So let me introduce you now to the bike man. Hey there, boss. I'll be honest here, boss. I'm really thirsty, you see. If you could share a refreshing beverage with a weary traveler, I would make it worth your while, boss. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. When life's a bitch, booze is a must. If we give the bike man some booze, he'll say, "Ah, a good vintage. A bottle a day keeps the monsters away." To your health, boss. If you want, boss, I can bring your junk from the other hideout. Upon nodding, he will ask which hideout we should take the junk from. We tell him, and then he goes and grabs it. After this interaction, we decide to explore for the day, coming across our first major location, the pig shed. When coming across the pig shed, there will be cut cables that lead to a switch of some kind. Upon turning on the generator and going to the switch, there will be this interaction. Various cables protrude from this contraption. Some of them run through the door to the outside. There is a lever and a red button on the panel. The motion range of the lever is limited by a provisionally attached plate. A note is glued to the casing. The note says, "Set the voltage using the lever." The lock is set to a voltage that paralyzes the sow for a moment, around 15 seconds. Procedure: the lever operator positions it in the middle. The feeder gives a sound signal. The operator then pushes the button, and the feeder feeds the sow. Repeat until the feeding is complete. Remember, the sow is our common good. Do not remove the lock. And our choices are position the lever to the middle, remove lock, or push button. For now though, we'll do nothing. If we explore the pig shed a little bit further, we can come across two villagers, and listening to their conversation, we can get a little bit of insight into this sow. The villagers say, "I told you he had it coming. He loved that pig, and she ate him. She wouldn't have eaten him if some fucker hadn't cut the cables. How the fuck didn't he get electrocuted? Who's going to feed it now? It's the only sow in the village. We'll starve if it dies." Heading just north of the pig shed, we'll find the Wolfman's camp. When we talk to him, he says, "I'll be damned. I barely believe my beautiful eyes. You made it. I need to admit you're a quite resourceful piece of meat." The wolf smiles, revealing a row of sharp teeth. Time to get to the specifics. Follow the path located in the southwestern edge of the silent forest. You'll get to a village where you'll find a hag who reeks of chickens. Talk to her. Maybe you'll learn something interesting. But be on your guard, comrade. Don't let her deceive you with that kind face of hers. The selfish bitch is keeping something that does not belong to her behind the locked door in her house. Something I'm after. Bring me the key to that door, and I will tell you where to find the thing you lost. Is it fair, comrade? A key for a key. Good. Now take off. Get to work. Gossiping with the Wolfman after this will give us a quite interesting conversation, though. Looks like no one else will enlighten you. Listen, the inhabitants of our lovely village hold many, many secrets. Treasures they do not wish to share with anyone. Those selfish, deceitful wretches. They think they're superior because they have human gobs. They treat us like lepers. But you know what? Fuck them. We're buddies, aren't we? And them, they deserve to be punished. Meet. The wolf moves closer to me. Hear that squealing? It's one of their secrets. The wolf grins, listening to the distant sound with great relish. Find that pig shed meat. Make the squealing stop, and the treasure will be yours. After this conversation, we head home because night is falling. But there are 3 choices that we can make that we have to think about before tomorrow. 1. We can do nothing. We don't help the Wolfman. We don't help the villagers. 2. We help the villagers with their sows so the entire village doesn't starve. Or 3. We kill the sow, appeasing the Wolfman and helping him out at the cost of every life in the village. When we wake up the next day, we see that the trader followed us to our other hideout. Interacting with him this time, though, we get this dialogue. The man stands before me motionless. I can only see my own faint reflection in the semi-transparent visor of his helmet. Suddenly he starts to move quicker, as if looking for something in his pockets. He takes out a piece of charcoal and starts writing on his palm. "There's no way out of here, brother." He shows me what he's written, then wipes it with his sleeve and continues scribbling. We're stuck with each other. After making sure I've also read the second sentence, the man takes out a full tank of gasoline from his sack. He places it on the floor next to me. And for the second time, oddly, the trader tries to discourage us from leaving here. The first time was whenever we showed him the photo of the road home, and now we've made progress into a completely different hideout, which is assumedly closer to the end of the game. He tries to discourage us. He says that we're in this together and that there's no way out of here. And what seems odd about this, even more so than just being a discouragement when where you're at is a desolate wasteland that you probably don't want to be in anyways, is the fact that every other person in this game, while they discourage you from time to time when you show them the photo of the road home, such as the Wolfman, all of them have some sort of other agenda. The Wolfman wants the pig dead, he wants the villagers to suffer, whatever. But the trader doesn't seem to have any sort of agenda. He's just trying to give you advice, but his advice is nothing but you can't leave here and we have to be in this together. But despite what I said about him being discouraging and somewhat nihilistic, he doesn't seem to have bad intentions. For all we know, he might just be right. Carrying on with our day, we finally come across the second location that was marked on our map, Piotrek's house. Throughout Piotrek's house, there are piles of junk, disassembled tractors, and plenty of scrap metal, specifically indicated by this piece of dialogue upon entering the southern house. This place looks like a scrap metal warehouse. The walls are covered with fungus and spider webs. It's very stuffy in here. Opening up the crate in this house, we can find a postcard with the portrait of a man on it. Someone has penned a caption on it, 1961, the sky is dark and the earth is blue. Attempting to open this metal door, we find out that somebody's inside. The person says, "Who's there? I'm not coming out until that beast lurking in my garage is gone." For the time being though, we leave the man to his own vices and we head to the village. Our reason for coming here is simple. We wrote it down in our journal. The wolfman asked me to bring him the key to the locked room in the house of the hag that reeks of chickens. In exchange for this favor, he will help me retrieve my key. A key for a key. Seems quite fair. I shall find the hag in the village in the southwestern edge of the silent forest. Upon finding the chicken lady's house, which we know we've found because of all the chickens, we go inside and we're met with this dialogue. The wooden floor is sticky with chicken feces and feathers, and upon entering the living room, we see the chicken lady. The old lady squints at me, her eyes full of suspicion. She hugs her chickens possessively. "Better keep them hands off me hens, you bloody scoundrel." The old lady puts one of the hens to her ear, mumbling under her breath. After a moment, she calms down. I've seen me share of things, lived through many a war, but nothing like this. Lord be my witness, this accursed land ain't a place for men, ain't a place for hens. After this, we can gossip with the chicken lady. She says, poor Hanuska has lost her mind. Her fella knocked her up with this abomination. Even the mongrels tucked their tail and yelped when they saw it. I tell ya, poor soul. They burned her fella with the shack and took the horror somewhere. Everyone got the jitters. Little wonder. The old woman smiles kindly, baring her 3 yellow teeth. It was a long time ago, but you remember it still, my little hen, don't ya? Thank the Lord for our sow. Poor thing seems sickly, but she has more life in her than the lot of us if you ask me. Only thanks to her we got something to put in the pot these days. And showing her the plastic chick, she says, "Hell's bells, where did you get it? Where did you find it?" The old lady seems disturbed. The hens fell silent. I can feel the tension in the air. Holy mother, it's Janik's little hen. A gift from me. My little brother. A couple of days ago he got mad. I told him, "Stay, you're not one of them brainy fellas. You know nothing." But he wouldn't listen, and off he went to that other fella. "Here, take this." He went to see this fella. See him? He never came back. The lady shoves a crumpled photo into my hand. The woman trembles violently. The hen on her shoulder struggles to maintain balance. "You're all I have, my little sisters." And showing her a picture of the road home, she says, "Oh, I remember this place. I do. It's been 6 years since I've been there last. This road used to lead to the other village. You could almost take it to get to the city. Not that far from here. You won't get there now. These devilish trees have overgrown everything." Upon exiting, we hear the sound of a poorly played violin, to which the chicken lady says, "Holy mother, this creep again. May the devil take him and his blasted violin." The old lady turns red and starts to scream. "Devil fucked your mother. Get away from me house." We get quite a lot of information from the chicken lady, so we'll talk about it all right now. First of all, Hanuska. Hanuska is said to have been knocked up and given birth to a quote-unquote abomination. Because of the abomination that she gave birth to, the villagers burnt her house with her husband inside and threw the child somewhere. We can find Hanuska tied to a chair in the burnt ruins of her house. Approaching her, she says, "Kill the pig." And examining her, we get the dialogue. The woman stares at the ground with a dead look. There's a crate behind her, and if we open it, we can find a doll. just a small plastic doll. Next, we have the plastic chick dialogue. The chicken lady claims that the plastic chick belonged to Janik, her little brother. The chicken lady then says that a few days ago he got mad and left with someone. Upon giving us a picture of this someone, we recognize it to be the doctor. And this should go without saying, but Janik was the person locked in the doctor's house, the same person that we killed at the start of the game. And now we come to the musician. Upon approaching him, he says, "I'm sorry, it won't happen again," and he hides under a tractor. Before talking to the musician, we look inside of a window on the outside of the chicken lady's home that looks in on the locked door in her house. Talking with the musician, we get all of this dialogue. "It's not my fault. I know it doesn't sound too great. My violin, it's a bit broken. I won't play anymore. Sorry. Sir, have you been in that hut? The chicken lady's hut? You're not afraid of her? You're brave. And have you seen her? The pretty lady? She's the most beautiful lady in the world. I watch her through the cracks in the window. She changes when I watch her. Gets more beautiful. I play for her. I want her to be happy, because she doesn't seem to be. The chicken lady locked her in that room. She keeps her there. She envies her. She won't allow anyone to see her, even me. She knows very well that during the last Kapala night, I fished out the pretty lady's wreath from the river. Yes, sir, the chicken lady knows what it means. Oh yes, I become the pretty lady's husband. We will walk hand in hand. Sir, I will play for her, Mr. Sir. I tried to release her, but the chicken lady, she chased me off. She always does. I also looked for the second key at Mr. Jan's, but now he's disappeared. I don't know how to get into his house." We nod. "So kind, so very kind. You are just like him, my daddy. But my papa has changed, mister. Just like my mommy. They will not listen to me. They won't hear how sad I am, sir." "Oh, but am I not boring you, sir? Please don't go. Please hear me out. Don't go." Nervous grunting can be heard from underneath the tractor. "Perhaps you can help me." We nod. Please find the key, good sir, to the pretty lady's room. The chicken lady has it. Well, Mr. Jan also has it. I saw him recently near the well. He used to play with me. We threw rocks into the well and looked into our reflections while making silly faces. Daddy used to say not to do it, else my face will stay that way. Now the water in the well is always hazy. It shows these weird images. The well is here, in the village. Maybe you will find him there. He used to hang around it often. He stared into the well, as if looking for something. Or someone. I must hide now. Hide from the chicken lady. I will go to that place where they used to keep all the grain in the southeastern part of the silent forest. Will you bring me the key if you find it? I promise to repay you somehow. Me and the pretty lady. We can show the boy the photo of the doctor. If we do so, he says, "This is our doctor, yes? He is just as brave and good as you are. He helped me. He is helping all of us. He gave me this beautiful mask so I could be healed of my afflictions. Maybe you could have one too." And you know what? Because of this comment, fuck you. Every villager that we've come across has basically tried to kill us. Why the fuck should we help them? Any villager that we come across in the village itself is just hostile to us. They ask, "Who are you?" Like, what does it matter? You're in an apocalyptic universe and you're still gonna ask, who are you? What, you think I'm ugly too? Just like the small boy who just told me that I should get a mask because I'm so fucking ugly? Yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna go in this well. I'm gonna kill this chomper. This chomper is heavily implied to be Hanuska's baby, by the way. You pick up a small doll off of its body too, similar to the doll that you get behind her in the crate. Either way, we kill this fucking chomper. We go into the house. Inside the house is a bunch of plastic chickens, a dog tag, and the key that we need is covered in fucking chicken feces. This entire town is shit. Everything's covered in shit. All of the people are shitty. Our key is literally covered in shit. So you know what? Fuck you. Fuck your town. Fuck your chickens. Fuck your violin. And fuck your sow. So a lot of things happened between me going on that little fit of rage and us killing the pig. So I will summarize everything very briefly. We brought the wolfman the key covered in chicken feces. He gave us a severed chicken head to give back to the chicken lady. We went back to Piotrek's house and we killed the thing that was in his garage, grabbing a piece of paper that was blueprints for a rocket that Piotrek is trying to build. We talked to Piotrek for a while and find out that he is a fascination, if not borderline obsession. It's an obsession with outer space. He's trying to build a rocket and he needs parts for his rocket to be able to complete it. We go back to the chicken lady and she mentions that her sister has disappeared. And upon showing her the chicken head, she says, "Jesus Almighty, my little darling, what have they done to you? This is a bad sign, mister. A bad sign. What will happen now?" After that, we go into the room where the pretty lady once was and see that she is gone, as the chicken lady said. We then go back to Piotrek and trade for a few things: a cable to fix the pig shed's electrical switch and a map. The map contains 2 locations in the Old Woods: the Old Woods hideout and the church ruins. And after all of that is when we finally get to the end point of my tirade, where I killed the pig. Because fuck all the villagers, fuck that kid for calling me ugly, and also there was a dream sequence in between all of those events somewhere, but it doesn't seem to serve much of a purpose, so I just kind of left it out. I'm gonna play it on screen in the corner fast forwarded, but to briefly describe it, you are a younger version of our main character here. In his apartment complex, you wake up and your wife tells you to turn off the light. You walk around, interact with a few objects, grab some useless items. You can't do anything with them. You can't bring them into the real world with you. And there's 3 different endings. The ending that I got, you just look at an older version of yourself, which is you now, and the dream sequence ends. The other 2 doesn't matter. They don't change the events. They don't add anything new and they don't tell you anything else. So it just seems kind of pointless to me. But yeah, either way, after all of that, we zap the pig and we kill it. Now, a few things that don't make sense. Going back to the village, we can talk with the chicken lady again. When we gossip with her, she says, "Oh dearie me, someone has slaughtered our wonderful pig, the only sow in the village. Where will we get our meat from now? Lord have mercy, what in the world's gonna come of this? I won't let them butcher me hens, even if they come for me. I won't let them." Heading through the village a little ways, we come across some sort of remembrance circle or worship circle with the sow's body in the middle of it. If we go off to our left after entering the village, we come across a man sitting on the ground and he says, "Hey you, the village leader wants to have a word with you. He's waiting inside." We enter the house, enter the cellar, they shout that it's us and to release Antek. Antek being a red chomper, which we kill pretty easily. The 2 men then come out and we kill both of them. And out of spite, after leaving the cellar, we then kill both the man sitting in the grass who told us to go inside and the woman who was crying by the shrine that we took the stone from earlier. Because fuck these villagers. Now, as for what doesn't make sense about this, all of them being upset, it does make some sense. We killed their only sow. And even if I suspend my disbelief and we say that this is the only sow in the village whatsoever and it can't give birth to any female pigs, there are still a ton of pigs that roam around their village. They can still eat those. And also, if this entire village is reliant on nothing but that pig, kill the fucking chicken lady. If she doesn't want to give up her chickens, who cares? Kill her, breed her chickens, and use the chickens as a food source. You're not going to convince me that every single person in this village just looks at the chicken lady and they're like, ah, well, the chickens, they mean so much to her. We can't possibly do that to her. Bullshit. Natural laws of human survival indicate that the chicken lady is going to be killed and you should eat her chickens. And the second thing that makes no sense is that if you were to save the pig, meaning you fix the contraption and you use it for good, you help the village out instead of helping the wolf. In that timeline, whenever you go back to the village, nobody knows that you were the one who fixed the machine. But in this timeline where you killed the sow, the village knows that you were the one who fucked with the machine and killed the pig. How does that make sense? How does it make sense that only when you do something bad for the village do they know that it was you, but you don't get any praise for doing something good for the village? It's just bullshit. And again, this is why I hate this fucking village. But either way, we're in the Old Woods hideout now. The most notable thing that we can find in this new hideout is a note titled Desertion Number 1. It reads as follows. Who the hell are they assigning to us? Masiak fucked off from the shack. The whole night he was rambling about some Marek. I think it's his younger brother or son. I don't know if it was the boredom or the stress that got to him, but it was fucking unbearable. It was the third night in the row. We tried to silence him, but it's fucking Masiak. Better not risk it. I slid inside my sleeping bag and zipped it shut. I preferred to suffocate in my own stench than listen to that fuckhead go on and on about it. After a while, I realized Masiak is not there anymore. He left around morning. He took all his equipment, 3 liters of water, a sleeping bag, radio, gun, gasoline, flamethrower, his beloved spitter, and his lucky stone. He only left the hazard suit. We're debating on whether to report this. No one's crazy about running around the woods looking for a psycho with a flamethrower. Hope he doesn't come back at night. We reported it. They're sending 7 men to search for him. We're coming back through the tunnel. And other than this, we come across an adult magazine, or a men's magazine as the game calls it. And we're upset now. Not because this adult magazine is the wrong edition and not what we like, but because we left the bicycle bell at the other fucking hideout. So I ran all the way back. And by then it was nightfall. And yeah, fuck my life. With the bell acquired and the bike man here now, we can finally get our shit from the other hideout and carry on with what we're trying to do. The first thing that we do is we go and find the train wreck, the same train wreck in which the doctor is hiding. The door on the outside is locked and we have to figure out how to get the code for it. And that's about the only thing of value that we did for the day was find this train wreck, so we go home, survive the night, and then we get some more interesting dialogue from the trader the next morning. Visibly struggling, the man drops the sack from his back and bends in half as if out of breath. He shakes the dust off his clothes, then rolls up the sleeves of his seemingly too small jacket. I see some new words written on his forearm. The forest wants to devour you. You're heading straight into its jaws. That's probably not of any importance to us, so we're going to carry on going deeper and deeper into the forest despite what this man has to say. And before we get into that even further than we already are, we're going to talk about a little side objective that we can do, mainly revolving around the church. The church has a locked door in it and we need to get the combination code. There is a way that we can get this, which involves a dream sequence. In the church's dream sequence, there will be a chomper that will spawn. The chomper will say, a red seesaw, a white dress, a black box for my girls. This is the black box in question, and you find it during the dream sequence and take it into the real world with you. After the dream sequence, the Wolfman will spawn in your hideout and you can talk to him. He will say, meet what's with the big eyes. Scared. Bad dream. The Wolfman winks at me, baring his teeth slightly. And if we show him the black box, he'll be an asshole about it as per usual. He does say that it's interesting, but he thinks that we can't simply find a key and open it by ourselves. However, when we do eventually open the box, we discover a tragic story told through kids' drawings. The story of the man who is the Black Chomper in our dream sequence and his family. This is the family that lived in the burnt house location that we discovered earlier in the game. The one with the red seesaw and the white dress for his girls. The story depicted tells of a family, 2 girls, a dad, and a dog. The dog one day ate a mushroom. It seems to then be indicated that the dad put the dog down after being bit on the wrist by the infected hound. It is then shown that the dad will dismantle the doghouse and use it to build a red seesaw for his girls. It is then shown that their house is burnt down, followed by them being led into the basement of the church, and in the final drawing, it shows the 2 children comforting each other, while everyone around them becomes infected and dies. Well, that sure wasn't a sad, depressing story. Let's take a look at this now instead. This man entangled in some roots at a place called the Hunter's House that has a bunch of stuffed animals in it. This surely doesn't have any lore implications about what is going on in this place, right? Right? And because half of the stuff that I want to talk about now is more important to part 2 of this video, I'm going to speedrun everybody to part 2 and save you the time. Granted, the fact that this video is already about an hour and 15 minutes long, but I digress. We go and talk to the Wolfman. The Wolfman then brings us to the doctor's house. While at the doctor's house, we have to open a safe that's in the floor. Once we get the code for it, we open it and we get the code then to his train car. What, you thought there was going to be some epic showdown? Maybe I forgive him? Maybe I pity him? Fuck no, I hate this guy. I'll shoot him in the face with no hesitation every single time. I hate him. I just want my key, and I take it. We take the key, we go to the underground passage, and we begin chapter 2. But chapter 2 will have to also be in a part 2 of this video. I would like to have done this all in one part, but sadly, just getting the footage, finding all of the items, figuring out and putting together the lore, plus editing and doing the voiceover of this video has taken me a couple hundred hours. I'm just gonna do it in 2 parts so I can give myself another month or so to edit part 2 together and get some things corrected if I need to, if I mess them up for part 1. But if you do know a bit about the lore in this game, you'll know that I skipped through quite a bit in chapter 1, but a lot of that is going to pertain more to chapter 2 when I talk about alternate endings, different ways that you can proceed through quests. I hope that's not a bother to anybody. I know I said I would go over every bit of lore in this game at the start of the video, and I will. It's just going to take me 2 parts to do it, because this is hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of editing, voiceovers, gameplay. It's just a lot, and I need a break. But I hope that this first part can suffice for now. I'll be getting to work on the part 2 video really soon. Hopefully it won't take me a full month to get it posted, but it might. And if it does, my only hope is that I know Darkwood 2 was announced in December sometime. I just hope that that game doesn't get released before I can get part 2 out, because then I would just want to be playing Darkwood 2 and my head would be on making a Darkwood 2 video, even though I haven't made the second part to this video yet, and that would be tragic. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Darkwood part 2 should be coming out sometime in the next month. and more videos to come because I'm trying to stay on top of posting at least one video a month for you all, trying to stay consistent, and I hope it's worth it and something that you all enjoy. I love you all. Thank you for being here, and have a nice night and sweet dreams.